Hey guys, today I wanted to talk about applying to med school without prerequisites and that process, as well as whether I regret nursing school, and also what the differences between NP and MD are. So for those of you that are new, hi, welcome to Naturally Heather. My name's Heather. Little background on me, I graduated from the University of Florida in 2019, May, so this past month, and I've also applied to master's programs in nursing to become a women's health nurse practitioner, and I was accepted to both programs I applied to, and I actually decided to rescind my application once I was accepted and not be admitted to those programs because I decided to pursue medical school. A lot of time, thought, and prayer has gone into this decision, and there's another video that's devoted to why I made this decision, and you can check that out. But I want to talk about my journey and what schools I'll be applying to, and yes, that you can apply to medical school without taking prerequisites or taking a post-bac program. So there's only about a handful of schools that accept students who have not taken the prerequisite med school courses like organic chemistry, biochem, physics, those classes. So usually pretty much the majority of schools require these classes to be admitted to their programs for med school, but it's becoming an increasing trend that schools are looking for more holistic applicants, and not everyone started out their freshman year of college with pre-med in mind. And med schools are learning that to be a doctor is more about your personality and about having bedside manner and being a critical thinker and having skill sets to pursue education and higher education, and less about how much time you spent cramming biochem in a book. So the doctors that are are your favorite doctors are people that are genuine, are people that listen to your complaints and your stories and your problems and critically think of solutions, not just people that know a lot. So that's why schools are, we're starting to see more and more schools accept students who don't have those prerequisite courses. Right now, I believe there are a few schools that do this, and they are NYU Long Island, which has the primary care accelerated medical school, and UVA, UCSF, Rush University, Tulane, and there's probably a handful more than that. Stanford also, although, it's Stanford, but they don't require prerequisites. So I am going to say that it can be done. Although these schools don't require prerequisites, they do require the MCAT. So the MCAT is the standardized test that shows your proficiency on those science subjects, and critical thinking and reading comprehension as well. So you do have to be proficient in those subjects, but you don't have to have those physical courses taken. So I am using the Kaplan books to study for about 8 to 10 months before I take the MCAT so that I can learn all those subjects that I missed. And the reason that I'm doing this is because I didn't want to pay for courses, and I'm a very self-directed learner. So if I sit down to learn something, I can, and I have the discipline to be able to do that. And I'm really passionate about biochemistry, and I'm kind of sad that I never got that with my nursing education. So I'm excited to learn those hard foundational sciences because I feel like it will make me a better practitioner, and it will help me understand research and the scientific literature better if I'm able to understand those biochemical pathways. So yeah, that's my story, that's what I'm doing. And now I'll go into reasons why this may work for me. So having nursing knowledge and my bachelor's in nursing from the University of Florida with a pretty good GPA, I think I graduated with a 3.83, or yeah, 3.83, and working as a nurse for about 2 years first before I applied to medical school, I feel like even though I won't have the prerequisites, my clinical education will really set me apart, and that's what I've heard other people who've done the same thing, that have done their bachelor's in nursing and then pursued medical school, that's what they've said too. And it really stirs up a lot of conversation in interviews. You obviously have a lot of patient experience and you already understand the hospital really well, so you're able to write really good personal statements and essays. So these are all things that I feel like will allow me to do the course, will allow me to pursue the path that doesn't have to require prerequisite courses, if that makes sense, if I, score well enough on the MCAT. But if you were a history major or have an English degree, and you plan on applying to medical schools and not taking the prereqs but just taking the MCAT, I will say that I feel like your application may need to do a little bit of something extra and something clinical to show your passion for the medical field, to prepare you for the application. So as far as not taking the prereqs, I feel like that works for me and for people that have been nurses or have done something else in the medical field, like phlebotomy, or you've been a tech or something else before applying, because we have clinical experience. So my reason for this, in short, for applying to medical school is not that I hate nursing or that I hate the nursing field, because that's actually not true. I really love the nursing field, and it's the career and the people that I have most respect for are nurses, because I know how hard it is, and I know how hard it is to be a nurse for a very long time, because the work conditions are very tough, and these people are the most emotionally strong, mentally capable, and spiritually connected people that I know, hands down. So it's not that I don't have respect for nurses and the nursing field, and there's a great argument to pursue nurse practitioner degrees and nurse practitioner school, is because you get to do a lot of what MDs do and not have all that schooling and time devoted and money devoted, and you get to do a lot of what they do on a daily basis. But my decision was based on the fact that I graduated with my bachelor's degree at 21. I didn't want to finish NP school by the time that I was 24, and that would be my master's degree, and be done, and then have a lot of that debt, and then have to potentially go back to my doctorate and do a doctorate level degree like a DNP or PhD to continue practicing, because I feel like that's where the nursing board is trying to move nurse practitioners to, is towards DNP. So that would be an additional few years and a lot of money. So by the end of it, it would be pretty much the same time commitment as me pursuing a medical degree. And a lot of people say, well, what about residency? Residency is so hard and you get paid nothing and blah, blah, blah. But the fact is that you still are getting paid. So it is a part of your training, yes, and you're not completely autonomous, but you are writing prescriptions and you are getting paid to do your job. So you're still training, but you're getting paid. As well as the fact that, yes, as far as NPs and MDs doing very similar things, that's true. And I want to say that the piece of advice that I heard earlier today, actually, when I was listening to this podcast, is that the difference between practicing and being able to do certain skills and knowledge, those are two different things. And what I'm really seeking is not to just have the qualifications to be allowed to do fancy medical procedures, but it's actually the foundational knowledge of biochemistry, histology, how physiology really works. And I feel like master's nursing education is not super focused on those things. Yes, they still go through full physical assessment and pharmacology and all of those things, but it's also padded with a lot of nursing theory and nursing research. And I was just kind of disillusioned by that when I looked at the curriculum, because I wanted to learn more of the hardcore sciences, so that one day when I'm working as an internal functional medicine doctor, which tries to look holistically at the body and solve the root cause of disease, I need to know how all the systems function and intertwine really on a cellular level. And I really believe that that's where the future of medicine is heading. And looking at my career outlook, I really wanted to have an impact in public health, and not saying that nurse practitioners can't do that, because they are, and they're on the front lines of those things. I just really wanted the foundational education so that other MDs would respect my opinion and listen to me, and so that I can advocate better for communities such as public schools and their food systems, as well as the differences in just the disparities in care between socioeconomic statuses in regions. And so these are all things that I'm really interested in with my career in the long term, and I didn't just want to finish my degree by the time I was 24 and be like, well, what's next? So yeah, those are a little bit of the differences between why I made my decision and why NP for me is different than pursuing a medical degree. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about was, do I regret going to nursing school if I really just want to be a physician? The answer is no. I do not regret going to nursing school if my long-term goal is to be a physician. I'll say that this might not have been the best, most conducive path if my long-term goal is just to be a physician. Like if you're a freshman in college and you get to decide pre-med versus pre-nursing and you really want to be a doctor, obviously don't go to nursing school, work on your pre-med requirements, do your thing, etc. But knowing the experiences that I was able to have in undergrad with patient care and with real lives is just it's priceless. It's completely priceless. And yes, I know that you can do clinical volunteering, but being able to do physical assessments, like give injections, give medications, know pharmacology, know a little bit about pathophysiology, those things I think are so valuable to my future in the health field. And I don't regret any patient that I've ever cared for, and it's definitely changed me as a person. So I feel a lot more confident that I can do medical school, and I am qualified, and I will be able to be successful because I did nursing school. Because nursing school was so hard and taught me so much about myself, about the healthcare system, about how hospitals work, that I feel confident that I can go into a patient's room and do a physical assessment on day one of medical school, instead of everyone else knowing a lot about science and not a lot of clinical stuff. So yeah, I'll have to work really hard to study for the MCAT and to be prepared to take those classes the first 2 years of medical school. But as far as the clinical side is concerned, I feel like I'll be really ahead, and that gives me a lot of comfort. It takes away a lot of the stress of not knowing what it's gonna be like. Sorry if the door just opened, my dog just came in. So, so I don't regret going to nursing school. I think it's been so foundational in my medical education, and if I want to have big public health change, being a registered nurse with a bachelor's degree in nursing, as well as being an MD and possibly Masters of Public Health, I feel like will really prepare me to make change on the front lines of hospitals with both disciplines, because a lot of nursing and medicine don't crosstalk and don't communicate and don't implement change together. But if we can work on both sides, I think we can really improve hospital care and really actually heal patients. So yeah, it's a little bit about me, about my story. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments below. I don't really have a comprehensive list of med schools that don't require the prerequisites, but you can look through that on a Google search, and I would find schools in areas that you're interested in living in, and then try to work backwards and figure out which programs don't require the prerequisites from there. That's what I would do. So thank you so much. Have a great day. Please follow me on Instagram at naturally_Heather. That's where I do most of my social media outreach and work. So yeah, comment, like, and subscribe to my channel for more videos. Bye guys.